All right, so before I start episode 135 of Nerd Name Mark Podcast, this is something new for those of you who are watching. I don't normally do this. This has happened a few times for those of you who have audio listeners. I don't do cold opens. I just felt it was proper. The last couple episodes were recorded in October. I have been sick with work and everything else. I haven't really done a timely recorded that week episode. And since my previous episodes were recorded, a few things have happened. Um, More recently, this week, Jason David Frank, JDF, the original Green Ranger, Tommy Oliver, has passed away, and was uh, I was gonna do something, video content because I've met him so many times at conventions since like '06, '07. Like I've met him a lot, and even outside of conventions, and I was just like kind of processing everything, trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. And honestly, don't I don't have it in me to do like a video about it or anything like that. I really don't. Um, so just want to send my thoughts and prayers to his family. And it's a tragic loss. 49 years old. It's sad. And it's one of the things you don't know the struggle people go through. You know, That's why with social media and everything else, you only get to see what people want you to see. You know, when you go on my videos and tweets and this and that, you see what I want you to see. You don't get to see everything. That's not how it works. So yeah, it's a really sad situation. And before that, a week or two previous, we lost Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. Batman, like he is Batman, to cancer, and that was also something I was like, damn, like I've delayed content that I was actually going to be working on that was actually Batman related, because I didn't want it. For me, it's one of those things where I respect when things like this happen. Like I have a respect for it. I'm not going to put out content, even if I have it planned, just to have it go up in the algorithm because people are talking about it. So I am delaying my Batman, the animated series stuff, probably until end of December or January. I had an unboxing video I did for the McFarlane 30th anniversary for Batman the animated series that came with like the display and everything that I talked about on the podcast previously when I found it. Um, I have the unboxing and everything for that. I'm gonna delay that because I just don't want it. For me, it comes across as kind of like scummy to put out content around stuff like this because obviously people are gonna find it because they're searching and trying to figure out stuff about what's going on. So I've always had the thing where it's like with stuff that happens, I don't put content out about it. Um, so yeah, that was just a quick cold open. My thoughts and prayers both to Jason David Frakes' family and the family and those close with Kevin Conroy. To I don't want to say voice actors or actors, two people, two men who were a big part of me growing up as a child because I'm turning 37. So obviously I was 7 when Power Rangers came out and also when Batman the Animated Series was at its peak and coming out. So those were two very important shows and these were important characters and these were two important people who played these characters when I was growing up. So yeah, uh, that's it for the cold open. Gonna jump right now into the regular episode of the podcast, and yeah. Hey everyone, and welcome out to episode 135 of a Nerd Named Mark podcast. It's me, it's Mark, and wow, like I've had some guests the last couple episodes, and I got sick, and I didn't get to do my other recordings with guests, so I have to delay those. And now it's the week of Thanksgiving. I am so far behind. I don't think I've been this delayed and out of like some sort of like structure with the podcasting in over a year. So I apologize, but like even right now I'm still sick. I'm hopped up on meds, so hopefully I can power through this episode and not sneeze and cough and sound like a complete like wreck. Because even when I was sick, I was still working a lot. I shouldn't have been, but I was. I had there was no one else. A lot of people were been out sick, so it's like, oh, let me just keep working and load up on meds. But now I got some time off to relax, and my fever has gone down enough where I can actually manage to like sit down and focus and record a podcast. Now, because I don't have any guests, um, I was like, man, what am I going to talk about? What, like, when you have a solo podcast, it's easy when you have guests because you have a conversation flowing back and forth, interviews, asking questions. But one of the things that I've noticed 135 episodes in now is a solo podcast. Sometimes you don't know what to do. And I was just like, man, do I talk about one of the elephants in the room, which is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? Do I talk about, there's so many things I want to talk about that I would love to do other videos for. And the podcast, I kind of try not to be too stand on my soapbox and like, talk to like, you know, my rants and my ramblings. But for those of you watching on video, you could see my manga shelf is full to the brim, and it's kind of chaotic around the desk and office area. I am organizing a lot of stuff. I was trying to while I was sick. I was like, oh, let me get up and move around. Let me, open the door and the windows, get some fresh air in here, and just start, trying to clean up. And I've spent so much time in bed and on the couch just playing Pokemon freaking Violet and Harvestella, and I'm like, man, I should get up and move around. So I decided for this week's episode, um, I haven't talked about comics in so long, and I was about to board and bag a lot of my comics that I've gotten over the last. It's been a while since I've talked about comics, but I got a big bulky stack right here. Yeah, that's a lot of comics. That's for those of you who want to know the pricing. That's about $130 worth of comics. Thanks to my discount, it wasn't $130, thankfully, because that would have drastically affect not me, but my wife would have not enjoyed how much money I spent on those comics. She was with me too, and I was like, "No, I got a discount. Don't worry." And it went down drastically. So I'm gonna go over all the comics I got, what I'm reading, go over some manga. We are getting close to Thanksgiving, which is Black Friday, and there's a lot of deals going on. So I may be doing a separate special video going over some of the some crazy good deals. I don't know yet. I do want to eventually do a special episode just reviewing and spoiling Black Panther Wakanda Forever, because I watched it and it was a movie. And then also, I just like with Sword and Shield, I am going to be doing a special Pokemon episode like I do whenever a new Pokemon game comes out. So at least I got 2 more episodes that are guaranteed to come out. And then I also have some more guests for some episodes that are going to probably go into December's episodes as well. Especially with the holiday and everything else, it'd be easier to have some more episodes in the bag ahead of time to put out so I can focus on work and the holidays. So, I already mentioned it, been playing, some games. Mainly right now, I got my Switch right next to me. I should probably plug it in, but the dock is all the way over there. I've been completely absorbed into Pokemon Violet right now. It's not without its glitches and performance issues, but I am really enjoying an open world Pokemon game. This feels open world, and I really am enjoying it. I will say that it's laying the foundation for what could be for future titles once they fine tune some issues. And let me just put a pause on this. For those of you watching, those of you listening, sorry about this. I shaved, and for some odd reason, the lighting is making my face look so weird right now, and I don't know why. Like I was like, none of the 5 o'clock shadow. I was like, damn, I look. Ugh. I can't wait for this to grow back. Whenever whenever I'm sick, okay, here's what happens. Whenever I'm sick, I I always shave for some reason. I don't know why. It's just something. Anytime I'm really sick, like I shave. And this time, like, I don't know, I had like a lot of gray in the beard, and and I was just like, oh, and I was like, I'm getting old. I was like, you know what? Let me just shave. I'm gonna shave it, and I was like, oh, so it feels a lot better once I shave. I sometimes hate having facial hair, but yeah, that's besides the point. But yeah, so um, Pokemon, been playing it a lot, and that was just a little sidebar because I shaved and I saw I was looking at the camera and I'm like, ugh. But Pokemon's been it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to if they keep this open world, fine tuning the foundation that they've done. Obviously, with Legends, Arceus or Arceus, however you want to pronounce it, I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was a really good game. Not a lot of people talked about it after launch. Same with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I feel like no one really talked about that game after it came out. Whereas, Scarlet Violet people are talking about like crazy. And yeah, I've been enjoying that. Before that, I was playing Harvestella, which I probably am going to take a break from Pokemon and jump back into that. That is uh, a JRPG from Square Enix that also is farming. So think of like Rune Factory and Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon and stuff like that, but more heavily reliant on the RPG elements and less of the actual farming. The farming is obviously essential for it, but the main focus is the actual story and combat and everything else, which I love because usually the farming is the main focus and the story is very secondary, and they're usually like very trope filled normal stories, whereas this one is really good. I have to finish it. I'm only like 6 chapters in, and I believe there's 10 total. So I'm just over the halfway point, and I have put a lot of time into it already. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to definitely dive into that some more. Then we have Black Friday deals coming up, so I'm going to see what kind of games I can get on the cheap that I've been eyeing to play. Supermassive Games, congratulations on them for putting out another great game from their anthology. They had the Dark Pictures. They just put The Devil in Me just came out. I have to start playing it. I cannot wait. I have it, but I just haven't had time. I still have to play The Quarry a few more times and get some other endings. Like The Quarry was so good, even though that's not a part of the Dark Pictures anthology. This The Devil in Me is along the lines like Little Hope, Man of Medan, stuff like that, like those ones. So I'm very intrigued to play it, and it looks really good. So that's it. But that for games, that's really it for video games. Man, I I go through phases. Like that's why sometimes I won't talk about games on the podcast. So now this is the time of year where there's a lot of games coming out. A lot of games already out. Next month we're gonna get the Crisis Core remake, which I cannot wait to play that. I love that game so much. And yeah, I'm really excited for the games that are out, new games coming out. So I'm going to be having a lot of games to talk about on the podcast again, which I have had feedback where, like, you don't really talk about games a lot. And I was like, yeah, well, sometimes, like, this is a week to week podcast. So if I'm not playing games this week, I really don't have anything to say about video games. And I don't cover, like, news stuff. More, what I'm doing for nerdy things. And yeah, and then from a movie standpoint, um, I started binging Lock and Key again. Because I never finished it past season, like a couple episodes into season two. So I went back to season one, and I just started binging the shit out of it, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm a fan of the I have the trades for it, so I was like, I'm gonna jump back in that. I was like, I always forget about that, and we saw Wakanda Forever. Uh, Finally, because it's on streaming services, Nope was added. Even though I saw it in theaters, I haven't seen it since, so I watched that again. And then I go back to my go tos. Every once in a while, I just go back and I'll watch, Jurassic Park. I'm a huge, like, I love dinosaurs, so I watch Jurassic Park again on 4K because, we did pick up a brand new Samsung, like, 4K TV that's huge and I love it. So I was like, let me start watching some of these 4Ks on this new TV. And I was like, oh, they're so good. We're back to watch the John Wick trilogy again. The fourth one's coming out in a couple like next year, so I was like, I'm gonna watch John Wick again. I love those films, and you know, the usual horror stuff. I found another batch of found footage films I haven't seen, so I was like, well, I gotta watch those. I'm, eventually I'll do an updated follow up podcast episode like I did last year about found footage, going over my list even more because like I said, my goal is to see every found footage horror film ever made, and I've seen a lot, and I have a checklist, and I'm getting there. Honestly, I've put a lot of work into seeing every found footage film, but that's really for watching stuff. I mean, I haven't like when I'm sick, like I just listen to podcasts and audiobooks. I've been reading a lot of manga, so I guess right now I'll go into my comics that I picked up, my backlog, so to speak, that I haven't really gotten to show because I ran out of boards and bags and I kept forgetting to buy some. So they've just been kind of sitting on my desk. And I was like, man, I got to go get some boards and bags. And I was like, oh, I haven't shown any of these podcasts or any of these comics on the podcast. I should probably like do that. I wish, however, I had put stuff in order, but I have not. So you're gonna have to bear with me. So they're not organized by publisher or in any numerical order. Hopefully they are at least in order by which ones, like, so it's not all over the place, but they're not. So I'm gonna start off right at the bat. Now that the Banner War is over, I got issue 10 of the Hulk, which is being written by Donny Cates. You know my feelings on Donny Cates as a writer, so I don't need to tell you that you should be reading the series right now because it's actual Hulk. Like, we're getting Hulk back, and I really am enjoying it. Next up, these two. I always forget who the publisher is for this, and I think it's from Phase 6 and Subaraya, the Redman comics. So I got episode 4, which is issue 4 for Zars. Love that cover. That's the cover I picked. They give me multiple covers to pick from at my local shop. And then I got episode 5, Big Liger. And then I know it was out for a while, but like I said, it's been a while since the comic. I got the issue 5 of Godzilla versus Power Rangers. Then I got so all the Godzilla comics have been really good. I've been really enjoying them. So we got another run that's coming out called Godzilla Monsters and Protectors All Hail the King, issue 1. And then I got issue 2. Obviously with King Ghidorah on the cover. Always gotta go for King Ghidorah. Then I talked about it issue 100 when I was on Rollover Queen's live show. Go check out Rollover Queen on YouTube. It does. You want breakdown of comic book sales, rankings, Power Ranger stuff, this and that, DC, Robin, Tom King, all this stuff. Go check out Rollover Queen. You won't be disappointed. I did get Power Rangers 101, which I'm on my backlog. I have to read it. I'm curious about the new direction post issue 100. And speaking of some more superhero stuff, I got Radiant Black 18 and 19. Radiant Black is so good. If you haven't been reading it, do so. I have all the regular issues. I don't have any of the trades, but I do have them on my Kindle Fire HD through Comixology and Kindle Unlimited. I read, even though I read the issues, I reread the first trade. I'm going to be doing some videos and some stuff about that on the YouTube channel because I feel like it's something that, like, if you're a fan of Power Rangers and stuff like that, and superhero stuff, you want to be reading it. Like, I really enjoyed and am enjoying Radiant Black, and I think a lot of people would too. So you definitely should be checking that out. And set in the same universe, from Ryan Parrot, I have Rogue Sun issue 7. Then these are out of order. Yeah, they are. So I have part 4 of Scarlet for House of Slaughter issue 9, and then part 5 for that arc, issue 10 for House of Slaughter. Really like House of Slaughter. It's been really good. I've been, if you like something that's killing the children, it's set in the same universe. It's a really good run. I've been enjoying it for the better part of the last 10 months or so. And then there's another one, because I'm a big fan of Jeff Lemire. He's doing Little Monsters, and he has another one called Bone Orchard Mythos, and this is 10,000 Black Feathers, issue 1. And then I got 10,000 Black Feathers, issue 2. Very good comics. I'm a huge fan of his writing, so of course. And we're still going pretty bad, because, like, this is, I got all these, I haven't gone this week yet. So most of these comics are still, like, from October. And so I still have the Archie Horror Fear of the Funhouse one shot, because I'm a huge fan of Archie comics. A lot of people still laugh at that, but yep. And then I got the Chilling Adventures Salem one shot from Archie Horror. And then we also got another one shot, The Return of the Chilling Adventures in Sorcery. Like, they do all these ones like once a year, obviously for Halloween stuff, for that. Then I I have the Dead Lucky issue 3. I got 1 and 2 before, but I'm really Melissa Flores is killing it. I love the Dead Lucky, and I'm looking forward to Melissa Flores' Power Ranger run now. So I'm probably gonna actually read issue 101 next, like right after I'm done doing this. Next up, I have Little Monster 7. Speaking of Jeff Lemire, um, post-apocalyptic vampires, really good run. Trust me, go check it out. And then I have issue 3 of the Bone Orchard Mythos for the Thousand Black Feathers. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Lemire. I mean, he does this. It's not even like horror, but like just the tone and like the writing style. This and that, like really good stuff. I definitely want to do some reviews for it, but I feel like I'm not that good at reviewing comics. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like I'm not. Um, then I have this variant for the Mystery of Ultra 7 number 2. I had to go for this art style. It reminded me a lot of Ultraman 80, the cartoon series, and as an Ultraman fan, I had to get that cover. And then I also got the variant for the Mystery of Ultra 7 number 4. I just, the cover's so good for those of you watching. Like, you can't not like that cover. And then I got this nice one shot. The cover on it is like high quality, thick paper stock. Um, it's Godzilla, Best of Mothra. And look at this cover. That is so cool. I was like, need it. And then I had to go back and I had to get my uh my Power Rangers 100. I had to get this cover because I just needed it. And then also it does have my Red Ranger card in it as well as the poster because I was like, yeah. Now when I went to the other comic book shop when I got it the day it came out, I didn't get to go to my normal shop. I didn't have a card or the poster. So I was like, that's kind of rude. And then I forgot all about it, but they gave me another one of the foil variants, which I'm okay with because this is such a good um, cover. I like it a lot. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably going to get this. I want to get one of them graded because I did that with Shattered Grid, and this is issue 100. Like I have a couple. I have like an issue 0 graded. I have an issue 1 graded, and then I have the one of the variant for the Shattered Grid um, one graded also. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna send one of those out to get graded. Have it for the collection. Um, and yeah, so that's it for the comics. I mean, a lot of comics. I have a lot of reading to do, a lot of catching up on shit. Haven't read most of these. Well, some of them I have, but I do need to play catch up on that. And yeah, that's all the comics. Manga, on the other hand. So since the last time I did an actual recording, I finally picked up a nice Kindle Fire HD10 finally. Because honestly, having uh buying manga is nice. I like physical copies. It's nice, you know, but at the same time, it takes up a lot of space. My bookshelf is full, like to the floor. The lower two shelves you don't see are full also. So I started getting more manga, whether it's on the Kindle app. I use a Moon Reader also for when I get the DRM free like PDFs. So I have this whole app full of manga that I'm reading, and also what I've been reading on there. So right now, some of my favorite mangas I'm reading Call of the Night. I just finished volume 2. Because of the Chainsaw Man anime, I had previously read Chainsaw Man. I only read like 3 volumes of it, but now I'm up to volume 5. Uh, I'll probably wait until the season's done and then I'll watch the anime. And then another one that like caught me off guard that I got previously was Rooster Fighter. Oh, really entertaining. I finally got volume 2 of that, so I was reading that. And then, just my normal weird stuff like, don't not weird. I want to say like just what shocks people when I'm reading. So like I'm reading, Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. Hitomi-chan is shy around strangers, stuff like that. And everyone's like, you read these weird slice of life rom-com ones. I'm like, yeah, and then I'll read like a harem manga or something like a Demon Slayer or One Punch Man. It's like I'm all over the place with manga. Like I don't have one genre that I stick to. So yeah, I've been just reading a lot. That's what I do when I don't feel good and stuff like that. I like to read. Reading makes me feel better, and it's just something enjoyable. So I'm not just sitting in front of a TV screen or a computer monitor. And then also, since the last time I recorded, I got some Kamen Rider merch. I got my Soto ID 1 and I got my Soto ID 2 for Kamen Rider Geats. I already built all those. I already put a video up on the YouTube channel going over and reviewing the first wave. I have to do that for the second wave. And yes, I know, I have my belt, my Reiwa totem right here. That's moved from over there. I'm moving some stuff around, like I said, and organizing. But two things that I really want to show off really quick. Sorry for those watching that I'm like all the way off screen. So, as you know, I have every NECA Toonie Terror that's been released. Every single one. Loot Crate exclusives. Glow in the Dark none. In this and that. And they released, and I've been hunting them down. They released two more bigger sets. One for An American Werewolf in London, and then one for Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And as you know, if you watched my video ranking the Halloween ones, I don't hate Halloween 3. I just don't think it should have been called Halloween. But I did get the Season of the Witch 3-pack for the Toonie Terrors. And I think those are really cool. And then, from American Werewolf in London, I got... Oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? That is amazing. Like, I have to, and one of the reasons why I'm also moving stuff around is I need to make space to put these up on the shelf because the shelf is actually full. So I have to move some stuff around so I can actually display all of them. And yeah. Sorry, like I'm trying really hard and I'm like trying not to cough right now because I'm all super congested. But I just wanted to, talk about some stuff, comics, because I haven't really gotten to talk about comics, and I like feel kind of bad because like that was kind of like for starting out the podcast, that was some of the main like stuff that I would do was going over my comic book hauls, and I know recently with inconsistencies of I don't pick up my comics every week anymore. It's because my pull list is so low. Like that stack right there is like 2 months worth of comics. So I've cut back drastically. Yes, I'm reading more digital stuff, and that's probably why too, just to save money and also space. But yeah, I just haven't. I don't know. I think I'm approaching pretty close to like cutting back my pull list again, and like making some cuts, and maybe just keeping like the Massiver stuff, Power Rangers, and like my Toku comics. This week though, at the time this video probably goes live, we're getting the Kamen Rider 01 comic from Titan Comics. Not Titan Comics. Is it Titan Comics? I don't know who it's from. That's going to be very intriguing. I'm curious to see everyone's reaction to that comic and how they feel about it. I it's going to be very polarizing. I don't think there's going to be a consistent like baseline where everyone's like, "Yay, this is amazing." I'm not going to talk about it yet. I will talk about it next week or in a separate video. But all right, listen, I wish I could do a longer video. But I don't, you know me, I don't milk time on here. Like I don't waste time with the episode. I don't fill it with dead air. I don't fill it with nonsensical like, and I'm sick and it started to hurt my voice to talk. So I thank everyone who's been checking out the YouTube channel. I just hit 820 subs. That's ridiculous. Everyone who's listening, thank you guys for listening. The podcast is on the podcast. You know the spiel. You just type in a Nerd Name Mark podcast and boom, and there it is. It's right there for you. You can follow me on social media, see what I'm up to, and get behind the scenes stuff. I got some other content I'm working on once I start actually feeling better. And I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 135 of a Nerd Name Mark podcast. My name is Mark. I'm sick, and I'm a nerd.